At this point, Senator Hawley is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Olsen, let me start with you. How many personnel in your National Security Division are working on cases or other issues surrounding the events of January 6th?
Senator, that investigation is being led by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. There they have dozens of individuals, including people who have been, prosecutors who have been detailed from around the country to support that extensive investigation. We have a handful of prosecutors in Main Justice who are working to support and assist in that investigation.
But from your division, my question is how many are none?
No, from my division, I know there are at least 3 or 4 who have been working, if not full-time, part-time, on that case.
How many personnel in your division are working on issues pertaining to Attorney General Garland's memorandum of October 4th, 2021 that's entitled Partnership Among Federal, State, Local, Tribal, and Territorial Law Enforcement to Address Threats Against School Administrators, Board Members, Teachers, and Staff?
Senator, and with regard to that memo and that work, the National Security Division plays an informal advisory role. There's no one that's dedicated to that, on any sort of full-time or really even part-time basis. I think we're available to consult with if the facts warrant, that level of consultation with the National Security Division.
And what exactly what have you done to date with regard to, this is the school board memo, just for those who are following along here. What is it that your division has done to date so far with regard to that memorandum and the department's effort here to track parents at school board meetings?
With regard to the school board memo, which again, I understand is an effort to protect school board members, other public servants, teachers from acts of violence or threats of violence. But from the perspective of the National Security Division, I don't think we've had any particular role or done anything in particular with regard to that effort.
So you're not coordinating with local officials?
Again, I'm not aware, Senator, that the National Security Division has played any role in any matter up to this date. I've been in the role for 2.5 months, but I've not heard of anyone in my division having any role to play there yet.
You responded to some questions from Senator Whitehouse just a moment ago about parents at school board meetings. The gist of the questions was, it doesn't really matter if it's a school board meeting or elsewhere. If you commit acts of terrorism anywhere, then it's terrorism. Or is it your view that parents speaking out at school board meetings can be or are domestic terrorists?
Absolutely not. And my understanding of the Attorney General's memo on this is that it is not about people speaking out at school boards. It's not about people voicing their opinions, exercising their First Amendment rights. It's about protecting, whether it's teachers or for that matter, law enforcement officers or other public officials from threats of violence, criminal acts, violence. My understanding of Senator Whitehouse's question was really just about the location of various federal crimes, not necessarily domestic terrorism, but just federal crimes is largely being beside the point when it comes to federal law enforcement.
Are Department of Justice officials and prosecutors still drawing up lists of crimes for which parents can be prosecuted regarding their participation in school board meetings?
I'm not aware that that's ever happened.
Really? You're not aware that it's ever happened? Did you watch the Attorney General's testimony before this committee when he was here last, when we read to him into the record a list of crimes that Department of Justice prosecutors, employees had prepared, had sent to local officials talking about crimes that parents could potentially be charged with, a list which, by the way, was incorrect, listed crimes that don't exist, but that had been sent to local partners in at least one state, all of the local partners in one state. Are you familiar with that, with his testimony in that regard? Did you watch that hearing?
I am generally familiar with the Attorney General's testimony, and again, my understanding of both his testimony and his direction for the Department of Justice is to take the necessary steps that we can take, whether it's enforcing federal law or working with state and local partners to protect individuals who both are serving in public service roles, such as school board members and teachers, and to protect First Amendment rights of people who attend or speak at school board or other public meetings.
Well, Here's my issue with that, is that what we have found consistently out of the Department of Justice is we can't get a straight answer as to why your division would be involved at all with regard to school board meetings, why the Attorney General told us you wouldn't be whatsoever. It appears from subsequent reporting that you have been. We were told that parents wouldn't be charged with federal crimes, but we know that Department of Justice prosecutors have drawn up lists of federal crimes and disseminated them to local partners. The Attorney General told us that hadn't happened. We now know from whistleblowers that it has happened, and we can't get a straight answer as to why parents should ever be treated or regarded as domestic terrorists. I've got other questions I'd like to ask you with regard to January 6th. My time has expired, so I'll give those to you for the record, and I'll have some additional questions for you regarding your division's involvement or not with what the Attorney General is doing with regard to school boards. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.